All right, everybody. Welcome to the Modern Warrior podcast.
The first one ever created in history.
That's it.
This is
right
great.
Here we have the
Carter
Lay and myself. I am Diego Gonzalez.
Thanks for coming, brother.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. This is awesome.
Of course.
First time getting here and getting in front of the banner and actually making this a real thing. So
Right.
This is great. We got some good things coming for the people. Obviously, I want to take a dive into personal excellence to start. Obviously, that being our kind of main focus and our main mission right now, as like how everyone has their own route to personal excellence, right? That looks different for everyone. You could have the mom with kids who is just trying to be the best mom she can possibly be for her young ones. You got someone like you who's super into bodybuilding right now and obviously trying to be the best at your craft, right? So it could look different for a lot of people,
Right.
but we know that at the end of the day, this is the true path to freedom, the true path to being successful and having what you want. Talk a little bit about what got you into bodybuilding in the first place.
Oh, yeah. So back when I was in college, one of like the first friends that I had made, he was getting ready for a show because he had been super into it. And so like he would show me ins and outs. We would go to like the college gym, or we had an Anytime Fitness membership. Probably spent too much time at the gym and not going to class.
Right.
But it just became like a passion where we just had to be there every single day. And so he was about like 2 months out from a show, and he actually got killed at a gas station. And so from that moment on, I didn't want to like do bodybuilding because I felt like that was his thing. And it made even like going to the gym hard for me. But then after like spending time with his mom, who before she passed, she made me feel a lot better about like still pursuing things. And so now when I do it, it's like I carry my passion plus his. So like anytime I'm debating on like, I'm not going to go to the gym today, it's like, no, but he would.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to go for him. Right. And so when you have the passion and drive of like you're living for two people, and that carries into a bunch of different parts of my life
100%.
of things that like he never got to accomplish. Now I have to do those things for him. Right. So whether it's work, relationships, with bodybuilding, I guess those are like the three main things in my life.
Yeah.
If I ever want to like slack on them or just not be the best me when it comes to those, I know he would have. Right. And so like that is what usually steers me back on course of like, no, I got to do this now.
Yeah. There's no option, right?
Right.
100%. And I mean, obviously, thank you for, first of all, being vulnerable and telling that story, because I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to past traumas or past things that they've had that, you know, they had two options, right? It's like you could let that thing destroy you, and you could seek down and, you know, make nothing of yourself and kind of just fall into that abyss, or you could use that as fuel, right?
Right.
And that kind of brings me into my next part, is having a deep why, right? Like having a reason why you're doing something. Whatever that thing is, whatever the thing is you're trying to strive and achieve for, having that fuel, it's that something that's in the back of your mind that's like, dude, today's hard. I don't want to do it. It's cold out. I just want to stay in bed, hit the snooze alarm.
Right.
Fuck that. There's that something that's going to drive you every single day, right? And I think we obviously have worked at the Peak Nutrition stores down here in Arizona, and like the main thing we find is that when someone has a deep why of why they want to do it, even if it's just, hey, I got a vacation coming up in Cabo in summer, right? Like I just want to look good in my bikini so that my husband looks at me differently, and that gives me the confidence, right? Like that alone is a big why for someone to keep doing something. So it could be as big as, you know, literally losing someone. I mean, obviously I can relate. I lost my friend when I was 19 years old, and that kind of fueled me into bodybuilding, kind of the same as you. That's why we can relate so much. But whatever that thing is so important at the end of the day. Right.
And it's funny that you actually say that. When I was flying out to Orlando this a couple months ago, I was just scrolling through Instagram waiting at the airport, and I came across this guy's what is the side thing from Instagram?
Thread? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The thing
So-
that no one used ever.
Yeah, so I still never downloaded it, but like, you know how you get like notifications or whatever from
Yeah.
it. So I get a thing from it, and it's this guy saying for influencers, bodybuilders, people like super into fitness to stop telling people to have like they don't need some crazy why, right? And he was like, you guys are making it toxic and like trying to say that like you don't need this big thing because not everyone's trying to be a bodybuilder, not everyone's trying to be an influencer,
Right.
And like to me, I remember telling my dad after he got out there, I was like, dude, this was the softest thing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I got so upset about it because I'm like, the single mom that has 2 jobs and 3 kids, you're telling me she doesn't have a why?
100%.
And her why doesn't have to be getting into the gym.
Yeah.
But her why has to be why she needs to perform well at work to take care of her kids.
Which is, God, that's got to be the biggest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have 2 young ones you have to look after. That to me is like the ultimate superhero.
Exactly.
Like the dad that's pushing 80 hours a week to provide for his kids and
Right.
still show up and come home for his wife and like be that like soft, loving, you know, like how can I help you with the dishes, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that is like the ultimate sacrifice at the end of the day, I
Right.
think, and like the true heroes that we should be, you know, celebrating.
Yeah.
But that's a good point that you hit on because like there's a difference between, so like you said, they were talking about not having a why, and it doesn't have to be that deep or anything like that. But we got to separate it into 2 categories. It's like being the best at something versus just competing
Right.
is very different,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Being a competitor and being competitive in the sport versus like doing a competition, 2 totally separate ball games.
Right.
Right. And one of them, if you want to be the best at something, just like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, the greatest in their
LeBron
crafts.
James.
LeBron James. They all had something, right? It's like they had something deeper that like fueled them so deep, dark energy, right? And like I think we kind of touched on this a little bit, that dark energy, that like dark place that you can go to mentally in the gym or, you know, on a hard day. What's that for you? What's that dark energy that you like to harness for obviously what it's going to take in bodybuilding?
I guess for me, like it's just picturing. So I don't have kids yet, but it's imagining. Right now, I use my brother's kids, so I have 3 nieces, and it's. I put it so dark in my head. Like, let's say my brother and his wife aren't in the picture, right? And now I'm taking care of these 3 little girls, and the only thing that's going to feed them is me winning this next show.
There it is.
And that's it. Like, so if I don't want to do this set, I don't want to do cardio today. I don't want to eat this last meal, or I want to binge eat, whatever. That's the dark place I'll take it to, right? Is it's like if I don't do this, I don't win this show, and these 3 little girls can't eat. Do you do the same thing?
And that's psychopathic, bro.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like call it what it is. We both got it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I remember it was before my national show, my teen national prep. I was like really deep into bodybuilding, super deep. And dude, I would picture it on the heavy sets in my off season when I'm, you know, squatting 405 or whatever it is for reps, like those hard lifts. I'm like, dude, someone has a gun to my mom's head, and if I don't get this up, she's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like that's where I would take it.
Yeah.
And like you probably see me in the gym and I just look crazy, bro. Hood on, headphones in, but like after when it's done, I'm good, bro. I'm a happy
you're
guy.
back to smiling
I'm
and
back
laughing.
to smiling. Dude,
Yeah.
you would never know. You would never know. But
Right.
that's like where I would take it to. And that's where I knew like when I was having those kind of thoughts, I knew that I was really gonna do well.
Yeah.
Like in the sport. I was like, because I can do things that not the average gym goer can, right?
Right.
And that's gonna be the difference on stage. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I do see like right now like competing has become like a trend.
Yeah.
It's a fad to like someone to jump on stage and say they've done it, and I'm all for it. Like it's cool, but as long as like those people actually do understand there is a difference and they still respect what those people who are there to be the best are doing, right? If you go out there just to like almost like make a mockery of it, I'm not okay with that. But if you're going out there knowing that like, hey, you lost 20 pounds, so you're proud of yourself and you want to get on stage, by all means do that. But still, you need to go out there with enough stage presence and awareness that you respect the people who put in 100 times more work
10
than
plus
you did.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I even know for myself, the first nationals I went to, my coach was very clear with me. We are not going here to win. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I was kind of upset. I'm like, what do you mean we're not here to win? That's all we've ever done. And then when I saw the level of competition, I was like, oh, this is what he meant. I'm not even close to these guys. But
I have to earn my keep.
exactly.
Right?
So I didn't go out there. I was now the guy who put on 50 pounds of muscle, right? Because I wasn't on the same tier as these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out there, but I still respected the entire sport. You know, I had my sportsmanship. I wasn't like angry about like not being in the first or second call out.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave flowers to the guys that did win.
Yeah.
Right? Because it doesn't matter where you're coming from. You have to respect it if you're going to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And so
you have to pay your respects where it's due.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you don't win, as much as that hurts because we're competitive people, like they earned it. Right. On the day of, I see so many people complaining about judging and politics and stuff like that.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, there is probably a smidge of it in the industry that we all are aware of at the end of the day. But it's like, it only matters how you looked on that day. Right. So like, I remember like leading up to the show, you know, I'd be checking out people's Instagram. I'm like, oh, damn, he looks good right now, dude. Like, or not, dude, nah, I look better than him right now, you know, whatever it is. And then you see him that day, and it's like, dude, it didn't matter what they looked like on Instagram 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It mattered that second. Yeah. Those 10 minutes that you're on stage. And, dude, if he beat me, hats off.
That's it.
He beat me, right?
Right.
And I got to do more work. But you got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Dude, let's talk about the next thing into that, obviously, with anytime you're going for something big in life, right? Anytime you have a big ass motherfucking goal, whatever that thing is for you, right? Bodybuilding, just being a mom who wants to be the best mom, you know, marathon runner, basketball, football, whatever the thing is, right? Business, you just want to be the best in business. You're going to have to make some kind of sacrifice to be the best at that thing.
Absolutely.
Right? What kind of things have you had to sacrifice in your sport, in your career, just business-wise, to be at a high level?
So for me, it's like I never was like the going out person. So
that was hermit, bro.
Yeah, like that never was like people are like, oh, like you don't drink, you don't go out, and I was like, I didn't do that before, you know. So like that was not a big sacrifice for me. I would honestly say the biggest sacrifice with going into bodybuilding and like taking business really serious is quality time with my family or my girlfriend. And like, I didn't realize it until they start voicing things. And then when I'm in the moment though, when I'm in my preps, it's like, I still don't hear it. I don't pay attention to it. But then afterwards, when I see like an extra 30 minutes of free time that I do get to spend with her, or like if I'm back home with my parents, or if my parents are here visiting, and I'm like, dang, I really do like not blow them off, but I really do sacrifice a lot of quality moments and times with them, which actually fuels me more for the next time. I'm willing to
elaborate on that.
I'm willing to sacrifice even harder the next time because I know they're the ones who benefit. Because in the end, I'm doing this so I can benefit them, right? Yeah. Like eventually I want to get to a point to where like my girlfriend, like we're married, we have kids, and if she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, she can. Because I can provide that, right? She wants to work too. We have 2 incomes. I'm not going to argue that either, right? And my parents, they've just done so much for me and my brother that at some point I want us taking care of them, right? And so like when I
sacrifice now, reward later,
right? And so right now I'm willing to really focus in on that like delayed gratification of like, hey, we got to go through this, you know, the next 6 months, year, whatever it is. So that way the next rest of my parents' life, I can take care of them, right? Or for however long me and my girlfriend are both alive, married, whatever, I can do all those things.
Right.
And so like when I do sacrifice and I realize those things, that's where it pushes me like, oh, I got to sacrifice harder the next time, right? Yeah. Like if I did give a little bit during one of those times, I have to realize like, oh, this is where I can't give next time, right? If I really want to achieve these things and give them the life that I want them to have, I have to be willing to do that.
Right. No, 100%. And I think the most successful people in the world are able to delay gratification for the longest amount of time, right? How long can you delay how long can you do the work without seeing a result is like the true metric that I think is going to determine how successful you are in life, right?
Yeah.
Is it, man, I can only, sacrifice for a week and I better have 6-pack abs at the end of this weekend?
Right.
You're not gonna make it, dude. But at the end of the day, if you can go 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, what's your 10-year plan from just putting in the work daily, right? If you can procrastinate that out to 7 years, 10 years, dude, you're gonna crush it,
Right.
Because you're gonna be able to keep doing it while the other people are just looking for the result right away, right?
Even just thinking of that, it reminds me of I'm originally from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I lived in Albuquerque for like 4 or 5 years. And before I moved out here, I had been trying to get out of New Mexico for years, and I finally was like, okay, you're working at a hotel and doing vacation sales, not making much money, but you need to get out of here. So you got to find a way to save. So what I did was I cut my eating. I didn't cut my eating down, but what I was buying was a 60-pack of eggs from Walmart. But back then they were like $3.60, so it was actually cheap. 2 things of oats, a 20-pound bag of rice, a protein powder container, and I don't know how many 99-cent tuna packets. And that was every day for about 8 months.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding preps are 4 months, and people are complaining off of that. And I'm like, no, you still get to put stuff on your food. I wasn't even buying salt. Like, I wasn't buying salt, seasoning, sauces. Like, those were $6 that I could save. Right. And so I did that for 8 months to finally be able to like afford to move out here.
Yeah.
Right. I still had to take out a little bit of a loan to get out here to pay for like all the moving stuff. But enough
you saw
to like,
the end outcome, and it was higher of value to you than the suck in the moment.
Right.
Right.
And I remember telling people when they would see, hey, let's go out. And I'm like, no, I have food at home. Dude, you have just this and this at home. Yeah, I know. And so I would tell them what I was doing it for. And I actually lost a lot of friends because they would like, you're not going to go. You're not going to make it. You can't do that. You can't save this much working those 2 jobs. Because I don't have like college degree education past high school, right? So it's like, for all of them, it's like, no, you don't have it. You don't have what it takes. You're not going to do this. At the time, I was still like maybe breaking 200 pounds. So it's like, no,
they didn't see it in you
either.
either.
You're not going to be a bodybuilder. Like, you can't do this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And I finally did it.
Yeah.
You know?
And did you use that as fuel too? Your friends, your quote unquote friends telling you couldn't do it?
Every single day.
Yeah.
And it's funny because now, even after this last show,
I bet you
how many of them have come back and trying to message me?
Great job, bro.
Yep.
I'm so proud of you. I always knew you would.
I always knew you could. Yeah.
Those got to feel good, man.
Right. But then, like, it makes me laugh, but then it makes me appreciate the ones that actually did.
Right.
Right. There's probably like a handful of guys from the gym that I've met along the years that were like, I remember them from day one telling me I could do it. And then when I told them what like the bigger dreams were, they're like, oh yeah, you could do that. I see it. And it was
like,
it was even weird to me back then that like, people believed in me.
Yeah.
And so like when those people
because it was crazy to you.
Yeah. So when those people actually stick around, it's like, oh, okay, this is actually really cool.
Yeah. And that's let's wrap it up with that. Let's finish with, so on the journey of personal excellence, right? It's a very tough road. You're going to have to delay gratification like we touched on earlier. But also I think it's really important to be around the same people that are like-minded as you, that actually believe in you, that are pushing you to be better. They're being honest with you. They're telling you straight up to your face like what it's going to take.
Right.
Right? Like how important to you is having a community of people that actually do believe in you?
Oh, it's huge for me. I'm genuinely blessed that like I have like 5 really close friends. All of them, like one of them, goes back to me being 5 years old. One of them is my brother, so it was the day I was born. He got to be my best friend. Another one I was in 8th grade when he came around. The next one I was a freshman in high school. And then the last one I met him is actually my bodybuilding coach. So I've been working with him for like 5, 6 years now. But I have those 5 people, and in one way or another, actually just in most ways, they're more successful than me. Each one of them. But to be the bottom one, it makes me work so hard because I know they all like they root for me and stuff, but I don't always want to be down here, right? Compared to all of them,
Of course.
right? Like when you have your buddy and he's a surgeon, right? And you're like, cool, dude. Like,
Dang.
can you spot me $5?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to be doing that all the time.
Right.
And so, but having those are the people I do surround myself with, right?
Which is a good choice, right? Because I mean, if you're the top of the top of your 5 friends, I mean, like that's capped, right?
Exactly.
Where are you going to go from there? Like, there's nothing to strive for, or, you know, pick their brain about this or this or this or this. So, like, it really is important that you kind of find people ahead of you, right, in some aspect that you're like looking to take one thing from one of those people.
Right.
So I think that's the quickest way you'll get to that final end game that you're looking for.
Yeah, and for all of them, it's delayed gratification.
Right.
And like some of them learned it later, but in the end, if you were to look at all of them and ask them what they've done, it's all the same.
Yep.
For all of
they
them.
all put in hard work.
Yeah.
For years on end, right?
And so from seeing my parents to having those 5 guys, dude, like it's naturally just ingrained in me. Like I have to do this.
Game on.
And it makes it more fun. Like those are the people that believe in you. You want to make them proud. Right? It's more it's now it's like the point where like I'm old enough where I'm not trying to like prove other people wrong, because there's so many people I'd have to prove wrong. Rather, I would make those 5 people proud they stuck around.
Yeah.
You know, that means more to me now.
Yeah. Dude, I love it, bro. That's awesome, man. Well, that's how we're going to wrap up. I think
Appreciate
that's the great place to end up this last one. Next week, we'll be back next Thursday. We're going to keep this thing rolling for them.
Perfect. Let's
This is
do
great.
it.